are on. And everything's okay. Now we just need to get Chase. Okay. Ready, Chase? Chase? Chase?
It's all Anakin. I have the high ground. You underestimate my power.
You gotta film.
Hello there, and welcome to Boxes of Comics. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. If you are a new subscriber, let me just tell you, welcome back. I'm glad to have us. Now, for those of you wondering why we were in the shower with a lightsaber, let me just say it is because we are doing Star Wars. We are watching all 9 Star Wars episodes and reviewing them and telling you what's good and what's bad. So, let's begin. Hello, and welcome to Boxes of Comics. I am your host, Chase Ians. I hope you like that special intro because this is a special episode. We are starting to review all 9 Star Wars movies, and this week we will begin the series by starting off with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Episode 1 was released in 1999 and kicked off the prequel trilogy to show what happened before the events of the original trilogy, which is episodes 4, 5, and 6. This film was written and directed by George Lucas, who created the Star Wars series along with films such as Indiana Jones and American Graffiti. The film was produced by Lucasfilm and distributed by 20th Century Fox. This film stars Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, and Jake Lloyd, along with many others. Without further delay, let's start the review. Okay, so when watching the movie, I found it was very enjoyable and fun to watch. I enjoyed the prequel trilogy, but I also see why many people didn't like it when it came out for its time. I was able to make a list of 10 things that I liked and 10 things I did not like about this movie. With that being said, let's get into what I like, or what I don't like, and then we'll move on to what I do like about this movie. Okay, so first up on the 10 things that I did not like from The Phantom Menace was the use of force speed by Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon when under attack during the negotiations in the beginning of the movie. I thought that it was weird, it was not used ever again in the rest of the movie or for the rest of the trilogy. I felt it was just a simple plot mover. It's like, oh no, here are battle droids, master, destroyers! Oh no, there's too many of them, what are we going to do? Force speed, and then they're out. It's like they don't kill any droids, they don't do anything. George Lucas just said, hey, you wanna know what would be cool? If Jedi can move fast. But I don't want to overuse it, so it'll only work this one time. Like, that's so dumb. Okay, so moving on at number 2, it's the cheesy dialogue for me. Throughout the entire movie, there were just so many scenes that were just so cheesy and bland because of the characters and what they would say, especially little Anakin. Thirdly, there is the character Newt Gunray, which I felt was very underdeveloped and too bland of a character, and I felt that it needed some more work and character development while in his scenes because he just felt weird listening to. He's like, oh no, now there are 2 of them, what are we going to do? And it's like, the same thing we always do. Try to take over the universe. Like, it doesn't change just because you find out there's 2 bad guys. No, it just means that you work for 2 of them now instead of 1. So dumb. It's dumb. Okay, so there was that. And then there was just character development and new gun race scenes. And then we move along the gap between episode 1 and 2. And this was weird because I always thought the age for Anakin would be closer to Obi-Wan, but it turns out that he's like 9 years old when they find him. And then we don't know what happens between episodes 1 and 2. Like, there's just this whole time gap where Anakin grows up and we have no idea what happens. I think that's dumb. I think Anakin should have been already doing Jedi training, and then you could have still kept that whole like thing where Qui-Gon wants to train him, but he can't because he's Obi-Wan's apprentice. And then he's like, Obi-Wan's ready. I'll take Anakin as my new Padawan learner, you know? And instead of just like running out of gas and having to land on Tatooine, like, I don't know, I just felt that was just dumb and could have been done so much better. So there was that. Yeah, he was 9, and then in episode 2, he's 19. So, like I said, that's a big age gap that we don't know what's going on. Therefore, Anakin should have been in his early teens when found by Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Okay, so then we go to Anakin's Jedi testing at the temple, which to me is also pretty dumb. Anakin tells us that he senses ships and cups while Mace Windu tests them. Like, that's it. He's like, a ship, a cup, a ship, a cup? And it's like, really? They have nothing else to test them on besides ships and cups? Like, I think it would have been so cool if we got, like, something from the Old Republic, or if we got something even from Fallen Order, where it shows, like, Cal Kestis, and he's, like, doing his Jedi training. Like, that would have been a lot more better than talking about ships and cups. Like, come on, man. Okay, so there's that. I've always thought they could have done more testing, such as Anakin building a lightsaber, him trying to use the Force, just anything besides talking about ships and cups. We then move on to the battle droids. These droids are just so dumb and annoying, and I thought that they could have been a bit more smart. They're like, halt, where are you taking the prisoners? I'm taking them to Coruscant. Coruscant does not compute. Shoot them. And it's like, you're an intergalactic battle droid programmed by the Separatist, and you don't know the names of Separatist-controlled planets? I'm sorry, but no. Just no. Now I understand why they got rid of droids and they recruited stormtroopers, but at least the droids could hit stuff, okay? Like, come on, man. Okay, so then everything's fine until you see the Queen on Naboo staring out like the window. And you could literally see a power cord plugged into her dress. Like, I watched the 2013 Star Wars because I have episodes 1 through 6 in like a box container. And like, that's the newest one before Disney had bought them out. And even then you could still see the power cord to her dress. And it's like, why couldn't they just CGI that out? Or how come it had to be plugged in the first place? Like, I don't know what George was thinking there, but yeah, I don't know. Moving on towards the end of the movie, you have Jar Jar in the final battle getting so lucky and using so much comic relief to please the audience, and it was unnecessary and so dumb. Like, that entire battle, this is why I think he's a Sith Lord. He uses this warrior fighting scheme. It's on YouTube, a video about it, and it's called the Drunken Warrior, or the Drunken Pirate, something, and it's like a type of fighting style, and it's exactly what Jar Jar does. He's a Sith Lord. Okay. Also, for the final battle, the Gungans use a shield to protect themselves from the droids, but the droids just walk straight through the shield. Like, how does that work? It's a shield. Shouldn't they have to fight their way in. I don't know. I think it should have been a lot more like Infinity War, where the space dogs in Infinity War had to like kill them, like sacrifice themselves for the others, and like that's how they got in, and they went around the sides, and Captain America was like, "Oh no, they're coming in the sides." That's what it should have been like. It shouldn't have been just like, "Oh, ready the shields," and then they just walk right through the shields. Just dumb. Okay. Last but not least is Grand Master Yoda. In the original trilogy, Obi-Wan says to Luke that Yoda was the Jedi Master that trained him, but in the movie, it actually turned out to be Qui-Gon Jinn. So, it must be a certain point of view again, because Obi-Wan likes to use that a lot. You know, it's true from a certain point of view. You know, your father was murdered from a certain point of view, but in another certain point of view, I chopped off his legs and left him to burn to a crisp on Mustafar. So, didn't like that. Okay, so with all that, that's 10 things that I disliked about The Phantom Menace. Okay, so those were 10 things that I disliked. Now let's talk about 10 things that I do like about this movie. Although the movie isn't the best Star Wars episode, I do think the positives outweigh the negatives. The first thing I liked about this movie was Darth Sidious. Although his role might have been small, it was powerful, and the audience gets to see the Emperor before he actually becomes the Emperor and begin his plan to rise to power. The movie was then pretty boring until the Jedi Knights found Jar Jar. I think the way Jar Jar was introduced was actually pretty well put together, and was one of the few bright spots of the character. Hopefully he shows up in The Mandalorian Season 2 or Season 3, just to like keep him in the canon, because why not? He's Jar Jar. And if you think Jar Jar should never be used again, come on, man. Come on. You gotta let Jar Jar live. Alright, so another classic character that I enjoyed learning the beginnings of was R2-D2. It was quite interesting to learn that he was able to accompany the main characters because of his work. He was like on the same ship, and then the Queen's ship got like hit, so he had to go out and fix the ship, and it just so happens that he is the last survivor to fix the ship. And that was pretty cool to see, like, what's this droid's number? And then R2 freaked out, and he was like, "Oh, the Queen wants my number." Boo 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 boo. But it turned out she just wanted to know what his name was. Don't we all just want to know what R2-D2's name is? So it was quite interesting to learn that, and it was cool to see him accompany them on their trip to Tatooine, not Tatooine, like I used to call it as a kid, Tatooine. Then I felt it was pretty good until the big action scene on Tatooine that played out pretty perfectly when Darth Maul comes after Anakin, and Qui-Gon's like, "Duck!" And then Anakin should have looked up and been like, "I don't see any ducks," and then Darth Maul could have sliced him in half, and Darth Vader and the Emperor would have never rose to power, and the galaxy would have been saved from 8 more pretty mediocre movies. Yeah. All he had to do was not drop, and it would have been saved. But, you know, gotta keep movies coming, gotta get that money, so George Lucas was like, "Yo, I have a story, but I'm gonna just take it into 6 parts." So, there was that. The scene was very perfect and was very fun to watch, and it came at the best time since the story was getting pretty bland. Coming up at number 6 was Palpatine's manipulations of power. When the Senate voted out the Chancellor, and Palpatine snakes his way into Chancellor-elect. I was like, "Oh, you naughty, naughty, naughty. I know what you're doing. You're trying to get power and become a galactic empire." Yeah, I might have seen this movie once or twice. Okay, although politics in Star Wars are boring, I think that this was one of the best scenes in the movie. I also found that the character of Qui-Gon was written and performed well, and that George did a really good work with that character. At that was number 7. So number 8 is the final battle on Naboo between Gungan and droids. Although it's cheesy, I think it's better than any battle in the whole sequel trilogy. That's right, I just called out Disney and their sequel trilogy. Don't at me. We all know those movies are not as good as 1, 2, and 3. And I think they're well put together and thought out by George Lucas very well. Following the battle is the big finale lightsaber fight. The training and rehearsal paid off for big time for Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, and brought energy that was really necessary for that movie, because I felt that movie was much more like explaining what Star Wars is and what it was before the Empire took over. So I felt like it was a lot of explanations, not enough action, but luckily we get that in episodes 2 and 3. So yeah, that was pretty good. The final thing that I liked was the blowing up of the Trade Federation space station. Anakin's screen time for this was done well, and no Star Wars film is complete without something blowing up. The scene is one of my favorites for that movie and does a pretty good job showing how well of a pilot Anakin is, considering that in episode 4, Obi-Wan tells Luke, your father was a good pilot and he was highly flammable. I'm kidding, he doesn't say that, but it would have been funny, you know. Okay, so those are 10 things that I liked and 10 things that I disliked about the movie. Those are just my opinion, so maybe I liked something that you disliked, or maybe you disliked something that I liked. That's the beauty of Star Wars. George created it in his own beautiful way, and then he let us decide and bicker about each other about which movie sucks more than the other, since they all really suck. Okay, so that's it for this, and now let's talk about the wrap-up. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'm just going to give a quick wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I can't wait to get started on episodes 2 review for Attack of the Clones. So even though episode 1 was not well received when it came out, I think it aged well as one of the better Star Wars films. For this review, I would give the movie 3.5 out of 5 stars, as it did have its bright moments, but was just plagued by high expectations and unrealistic storytelling. And I think George Lucas started his second trilogy off on the right foot, and did a good job introducing us to the beginning of famous characters, and did a good job introducing us to new ones as well. With that being said, I hope you liked and enjoyed this review of the movie, so join us next time for a review of episode 2, which is my brother Caden's favorite because of the clone troopers that are introduced. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and hopefully you can join us next time on our live show, or even go ahead and watch another one of our videos that is on our channel. Until our next video, may the Force be with you.
And that's a wrap. Well, that's a pretty good episode, don't you think?
Yeah, that was a good one. A good way to start off the Star Wars franchise.
Yes. Got a question. Do you have any plans for today?
I'm your brother. You should know if I have plans or not. We do the same thing that we always do on Wednesdays.
Watch Clone Wars?
And go over to Mom's.
Okay. Have fun watching Clone Wars, by the way.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh, you. Yeah, you. I'm a cameraman. You too. You can go and turn off your camera.
Really?
Send it to the editor, and he'll
Okay.
get it done. Thank you. An editor? You may start working as soon as he sends the files to you.
Got it. Hey, I got a question. Why am I always the editor? I think these coin tosses are rigged.
Thank you.
Never mind. On it.
Oh! There you are, lizard.
a disgusting thing. Clone Wars. Pretty interesting. What's going on here? I pay for Disney Plus. I should be getting Disney Plus. It's not working. What? Oh, no, wait, maybe. Oh. Star Wars. What episode is this? This 5? No, I don't think it's 5. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. What is this? It says Chewie and Han. Where's everybody else? I don't remember this in Star Wars. Wait, Star Wars, yes. The holiday special.